So the aims are to celebrate and recognize the value of breast milk and breastfeeding, nutritionally, physically, emotionally, not just for baby, but for mother also. Breast milk is amazing. It changes every minute to match your baby's needs, delivers the antibodies your baby needs at any given moment, and is perfectly designed for your baby. Not to mention the benefits to the mum and baby, and to be able to share that information and message to the wider community. It's a great opportunity also to let mums know we are here so they can get support when they need it and know where to find it.
Why do you think the advantages of breastfeeding may sometimes be overlooked by mothers?
I think sometimes it's just the information available. Sometimes I'm not sure it's always overlooked. I think mums, we do have an awareness of how good breast milk is, but sometimes that's not enough. You need support. It's great to be told that something is really good for your baby, but if you aren't given the support and the confidence to do it, it's not necessarily that helpful. Often it comes down to the support as to whether a mum will breastfeed successfully or not. And we know that 60% or more mums say that they stopped breastfeeding sooner than they wanted to. And they will always say it came down to lack of support in those trickier moments of being a new parent.
And where can mothers go to find the support?
So in Lambeth, we have great support. We have online Zoom groups. We have face-to-face weekly drop-ins that mum can just turn up and ask for some advice. We have monthly walking groups. We have a fantastic group for Muslim mums. Lambeth Leap, they provide lots of support for new families. We also have the breastfeeding helpline, which is, I think, every day from 9:30 to 9:30. I have the number somewhere here, actually, if I can find it. So the number is 0300 100 0212, and that's the National Breastfeeding Helpline. So any mum has a question, needs some support, they can get in touch with them. And obviously, we're here at the children's centres. We have a Facebook page, Lambeth and Southwark Breastfeeding Support.
And you've been a supporter at the Breastfeeding Network for 5 years now.
Yes.
What changes have you noticed in that time, particularly in social attitudes towards breastfeeding?
I would say that there's more work to be done, but definitely there has been a lot of positivity in terms of promoting support and understanding how important support is. Yeah, as a breastfeeding mum myself, I was not aware of support at the time. And had I known, it would have made a big difference to the early days. So I think there's a much better understanding of how much support a breastfeeding mum needs, and any parent breastfeeding or formula feeding. The early days can be tough. And, we need to mother the mother. And I think that's becoming more realized now.
And how can people around the mother her? How can they help her?
Support her feeding choices, bring her food. Sometimes even, if there's support available, sometimes a mum knows there's support, but is a bit shy, doesn't know how to access it, is, tired, doesn't really want to leave the house. Sometimes just a friend or someone encouraging them to go and find support or take them is a really nice thing to do.
And I don't know if you read this yesterday, but Parliament upheld a ban on children being brought into the chamber of the House of Commons. And of course, this was sparked after Stella Creasy breastfed her 3-month-old son in the chamber. And I was just wondering what your opinions were on that.
I don't think it's very helpful. I think it's a real shame. Yeah, so I think it's a disappointing outcome because, your baby needs feeding. It's natural to feed your baby. So I'm a bit surprised and a bit disappointed.
How do you think it can be normalised, this idea of breastfeeding in public?
I think mums just need to breastfeed their babies in public. And I think we need to support mums in doing that. I think we really need to call people out that make it difficult for mums or shame mums. It makes a really huge difference when we all support breastfeeding. And that means everyone, including partners, families, friends, community, health and education services, workplace. They all have a really important part to play. And we know as peer supporters that, partners have a real supporting role. And it's brilliant that the campaign is shining a light on how everyone can get involved. We know more support a mum gets, the more successful her breastfeeding outcome will be. And, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child or a community to raise a child, and breastfeeding needs to be included in that. It's not a separate entity.
What do you say to the mother who's challenged over breastfeeding in public and is a bit tentative about responding? What's your advice to her?
That's a tricky one because it's very personal. Some mums are very confident and will be able to address that situation there and then. But I think you just need to understand you are allowed to feed your baby wherever you would like to feed your baby. It's not your issue, it's theirs. And I would continue feeding your baby and enjoy feeding your baby and support other mums. You know, sometimes you just need a smile from another mum when you're feeding your baby, a smile of reassurance or a pat on the back, or a mum that just walks by, or a grandma and says, oh, well done, it's so nice you're feeding your baby. And we can all do that. We can protect mothers in that way.
And finally, what other support is there for young families in Lambeth?
So we work really closely with other LEAP and Lambeth service partners to really support and improve the outcomes for local families, and not just breastfeeding mums, but any mum, any family. We signpost to lots of different services. We have the Healthy Living platform, and I believe next week LEAP have the Summer Festival of Family Fun. It starts tomorrow and runs until the 11th of September. It's a great place to go with your family, get connected with what's going on in Lambeth, and I would suggest any family to register with their local children's centre, because the children's centres in Lambeth just have some really great and free activities to do with your little ones.